interviews are part and parcel of your job search, unfortunately. And from what I see on my day-to-day coaching is that interviews are just becoming more and more in the spotlight. And I must say that lots of businesses, lots of people are not very good at interviewing. One of the things that I find most frustrating when I speak to my clients is, one of the things I hear from most of my clients is that they don't get feedback. Oftentimes they don't actually pursue that feedback, and I think pursuit of that particular feedback is imperative so that you understand how to move forward, what to do next in order to push yourself from where you are now to where you want to be. So I suppose my key message for today is you need to find out what you're good at and not so good at when it comes to interviews. You need to get feedback. Otherwise, what you'll find is you're going to be repeatedly on this interview hamster wheel whereby you don't know what you're doing wrong, you don't know what to do next. One way you can actually get this feedback is by taking interview coaching. I'm an interview coach myself, so yeah, if you need an interview coach, do let me know. But interview coaching, or you can, if you don't do interview coaching, you can perhaps ask a colleague, again a trusted colleague, just to go through some interview questions with you and basically observe your answers, how you answer the questions, not just what you say, but your body language, how you act, how you interact. That it's so important. And feedback is something that you can get on the spot as well in your interviews. You can ask the right sort of questions during the interview in order to get feedback from the people who are interviewing you. So for example, I don't know, what are your feelings, or what are your impressions of my skills as they relate to this particular job, or are there any gaps in my experience as they relate to this particular job? So that will enable you to get instant on-the-spot feedback from anybody who's interviewing you. But that word, which I've said a few times now, feedback is crucial. What you'll find is if you don't get feedback and you don't feel like you're making progress, it will just really begin to dampen your mood. You'll feel demotivated. You'll not know what to do next, where to turn, where to get your answers from. You'll become even more and more isolated. So reach out as well. Really reach out. One of my clients mentioned, who in fact interviewed for a role a week ago, and she's aware of what she needs to do, because she was able to give herself her own feedback as to why she felt she didn't do so well. And the reason she didn't do so well is because she wasn't familiar with Microsoft Teams. So I said to her, well, if you're not familiar with MS Teams, let's get on MS Teams, and so we can familiarize yourself with that particular package. And lo and behold, after that coaching session, she became a lot more confident, a lot more competent where MS Teams was concerned, and was able to get the job that she wanted because she felt a lot more comfortable working on MS Teams, or at least having a call via MS Teams. So in her case, though, as I said, she was able to give herself that feedback and understanding because of her own, I suppose, ability to reflect and sort of assess where she was up to. But there are times, like I said, some of that feedback might not be so obvious or as obvious as it was in this situation. So you got to ask for that feedback. And if you don't get it the first time, the second time, go the third time as well. That might mean asking the interviewer for feedback, pursuing human resources, for example, to get the feedback that you want so that you can move forward. So that's my thought for today in terms of, I suppose, one step or one important part of the process of, or one important question, should I say, that you need to be able to answer in the process of your job search. And that is basically, why did I flop on my last interview? Or what interview feedback can you provide for me after our meeting or after our interview. So think about that and make sure that you're getting the feedback that you need and that you're not necessarily being left out in the cold and left wondering what to do next, because as I said, that will lead to a lack of focus on your part and a lack of clarity and a lack of sense of direction.